Zaga, Raga, Ura, Gara, Yarga, Yarun, Era, Charo, Toro. Welcome back, you guys.
Okay.
Eurovision fam is back with the Sunday stream. What is up? It's good to see you guys again. We're back with our analysis. Short KKSC here.
I think you, I'm not Polish, so I won't speak on whether you nailed that or not, but it sounded nice.
I read it. That's why. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but yeah, there that was.
Yeah, I'm Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Lili, and we're all from the Eurovision fam team. Welcoming you back to another wonderful, hopefully, stream. So we're going to be talking about 5 more songs this week. We have up on the block Montenegro, Latvia, Greece, Albania, and Jordan has alluded to earlier today at the very beginning of the stream.
Yeah.
Poland. So, yeah, I'm excited. And
this is going to be a very saucy, very dense episode, I think.
Hello, Nanolo. Hello, Fahrenheit and other wrong units people. I believe Kevin uses Celsius.
Well, yes, so we do, but there's an asterisk on a lot of stuff. So Celsius for outdoor temperature, Fahrenheit for some people for indoor temperature, and oven temperature. Yeah, but I am pro metric system, absolutely.
Okay, this is my hill I die on. Metric system I'm fine for with almost everything except for temperature. I just feel like with temperature, there's not enough difference between like hot and cold to really measure it well. You know what I mean? Here
we go from like close to -30, -40 up to +40. So we got range. We're good.
Well, like -40. Fun fact, I think -40 is the same in both. That's something we can agree on.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, physics.
Yeah, it's like the same. It's weird, but yeah, once you get like that negative, it's the same. Okay, so yeah, we have songs to talk about, and I'm excited because Mark says this is the best group of 5 songs so far for me. The band grouping was great too.
Oh, thank you. We worked hard on that.
Highlights of the week. And we have as well Onik. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at pronouncing Armenian names.
Hi, Stan. Welcome.
Thank you. For saying hi from Armenia. Hello, welcome. So let's go ahead and I guess hop into this. We're going to kick things off with Montenegro, and we have Nina Žižić singing Dobrodošli. I'm sorry. All right. So who wants to say their thoughts on these lyrics first?
I don't want mine to be first because I have kind of an unusual analysis of it. So please lead on with something that makes sense.
Okay, so for me, I like the fact that immediately we're going atmospheric. Like lyrically, we are being transported somewhere else. We are like, hey, you know what? Slowly creeps in the night that bears all to the blame. I know what's happening. It's dark. There's a relationship happening that's not the best, or something else of that nature, and it's like a very evocative. So I love that it comes off like, you know, very like that right off the bat. I think there's a good use of poetry happening here, and the language is very flowery as well, and it uses like interesting metaphors, and like there's a story here, and like this is building up everything happening in the story and giving us like some real world building, whereas I feel like most songs don't really do that.
Yeah, and off of that, I'm not 100% sure exactly what the specific story is we already get from it, because I think there are a couple possible interpretations. But yeah, you can see it's like smiling through the pain, enduring things, knowing that it will pass. And I don't 100% know if that's like in a positive way of like, you can get through this, you are resilient, you will stay strong through everything, or if it's more of a like, that's what you have to do sometimes to get through the terrible stuff in a more of a like negative, like, or that's what they tell you to do, is to smile through the pain, and more of like an abuse kind of sense that sometimes that can be shared. So, but yeah, there seems to be kind of like a crying out almost as well. Let me just see. Yeah, I think it talks about like the pure before God and how they are speechless. So it's kind of like, why aren't people seeing what is happening and acting? Is kind of what I get as well from some of the lyrics.
Yeah,
I do agree with the floweriness of the lyrics. They are very ornate. They are a little purple. But by that token, because the story seems very specific, the floweriness of the lyrics kind of detracts away from the specificity. And I am not completely, it's not that I'm not engaged with the story, but I'm not certain as to completely what tale is being told. But from the chorus, from the execution of the kind of like fast, like machiney sounding parts, like da 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 da, that to me feels like it kind of feels like a shift in mentality of how a person is assessing their relationship. And for some reason, in that same frame of mind, I kind of drew a slight. Never mind. It doesn't make that much sense. It doesn't make that much sense. I'm not. I can't even make sense of that on my own. So if we could move on to production and genre, I'm not going to say that stupid thing. Okay, I'll say it. I'll say it. I kind of see a connection between this and Milkshake Man, but let's move on.
I'm sorry. There was two things that happened in that moment, which was a connection between this and Milkshake Man from you, and then somebody did bring up Laura Thorne posting a cover of Sam Cooke's "A Change Can Come," and that combination of two things hit me at once in a way
She is exploring her boundaries in music lately.
I love that for her. Go,
in
girl.
A way that I just found very distracting. I am so sorry to everyone.
I mean, that's impressive. I told you if you could distract away from the comparison of Milkshake Man to Nina.
Okay, like just so I can bring a little bit of context as to why I feel like there is a connection. Dobrodošli has the moment of a shift between I love you to I don't really trust you, and Milkshake Man kind of shows the opposite, where it's just like, I don't really know you, but I'm gonna super trust you, kind of a thing. I am sweating now. Like, they're gonna come for me. They're all gonna come for me. Montenegro.
So are you saying like?
It's not that strong of a connection.
This is the consequences of trusting the milkmake. These are the consequences of trusting the Milkshake Man. Is that you end up in a relationship? Is this like 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf to you? Like part of the sequel of the song? And aren't they like back to back in the running order too?
Are they?
Well, yeah, because Australia is opening. Are they the same semi?
I think Australia's opening and Montenegro is performing. I'm gonna leave. Let's just talk about production and genre.
I told you guys it's not that strong of a connection. Production and genre, please.
Well, I guess the way it starts is it really has that grand quality because there's like the horns come in and it's building, but then I think it maybe loses a little bit of steam, but then it builds again towards the end. So it sounds grand and like vocally performance is good, but it just for some reason isn't gripping me like I feel like it should be able to, if that makes sense.
I think that the issue is with the national final performance. She had the thing over her eyes, and it made it hard to connect with her because she had the piece over her eyes for so long.
The Shelton Riley of it all.
Oh my gosh, I feel like she emotes very well and sells the emotion of the song to me. Now, as far as the song structure goes, it's giving Bond theme. Mm-hmm. It's giving ballad, and then we also have a bit of a Balkaniness to it as well, which I love a Balkan ballad, and the other Balkan ballad we have, I don't feel is as strong as this one is. Mm-hmm. But no, I think that the combination of her voice and the way she sounds, with the fact that this is such a Bond theme, it sells the heck out of it for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do agree with the fact that it sounds Bondy, and I do see why there is a little bit of a disconnect, as Kevin was describing. But one thing that I do find kind of interesting about how the way this was produced is the fact that it sounds like machinery. I hear the instrumental of the song. It sounds like moving parts in a factory. And then we get to the part in the lyrics, which is like where kind of like I described earlier, it was the Nasmi says, or like whatever that line is in the pre-chorus / chorus, whatever that section of the song is. That kind of feels machine-like, and it kind of leans into what the lyrics are providing to endure a certain thing and make habit of a certain thing. And I thought that was really enjoyable to kind of have that connection in the production.
Yeah. Ooh, Mark, don't say this to me because now I want it too. With Montenegro, I do wish we had a full orchestration. I get that they don't have the budget, but this sounds much richer. Agreed. Like some like nice lush strings on this, just like really swelling up with the song when we reach the climax would be gorge. Like just
orchestra
beyond.
LED.
Yeah, but orchestra LED isn't gonna give me that same soundscape.
It's not.
It just gives me a visual. Like,
This is like what was her name? Was it Gaitana from Ukraine that did all like the backing dancers and those screens? Like, are we just?
Yeah, she had like the backing, and they jumped out from behind the screens with like the fake horns.
Anxiety. Those things gave me anxiety.
That was my guess. Yeah, no.
Love you, Gaetana.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about production and genre. It's Balkan ballady, but it's not quite a Balkan ballad in the traditional sense that we would understand from like the Zelko Joksimovic days, like early 2010s and prior. It's not that Balkany, but it has those elements for sure.
Let's not invoke that man's name because the work he did this year was not the best.
I didn't even look. I cannot wait.
Oh, he helped me work the revamp for Princess Song for Mila. He's like credited on the revamp.
Okay, well, I mean, easy check, I guess. Easy check. 30 minutes, right?
Oh my God.
And maybe where I feel like some of it though that comes through is like the vocal, that style and tone. Like I don't hear a ton of that, like the grit, but also clarity outside of the Balkans.
Yes.
In that same way. So I feel like even though maybe the instrumentation and production isn't fully there, like it's still the vocal, like the General Bello, like that grit, but still having like amazing clarity.
I do love Calliope's voice. And this isn't, I'm going to say I prefer Calliope's voice over Nina's, but I still love Nina's voice. Like there's something like a woman who can bring some like grit and husk to a vocal. I'm just like, jealous.
And
I'm
also,
stuck down like a toddler.
Starting the song in the lowest register she has and just keeping it there. The challenge of that, only for it to kind of inflate toward the end. That is nice. I like the dynamism of that a lot.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay, I guess next is like unique elements.
Yeah, unique elements.
Yeah. Okay, so unique elements. What's unique about this one, guys?
Like if I'm trying to think of if another song is very similar to this, and I feel like
I'm gonna go with that vocal from her, just because like you don't really get that sound a lot, and no one else is bringing that this year. Everyone else is bringing more of like a standard pop delivery of a feminine vocal, or like a standard delivery of a female vocal that's not quite as gritty and as, I wouldn't say raw necessarily. Yeah.
What I think is unique about it is the fact that it's one of the only songs that does the orchestral arrangement very well. I would say the other one would be Switzerland, but by that token, it is a completely different energy and approach to how the orchestra is conducted than Dobrodošli. Because in this song, in the Montenegrin song, it is bondier, it is grander, there are more instruments, and those things are kind of showing you where in the song you are. Again, like I'm pointing again to the dynamism of it, as opposed to the Swiss song, which kind of more or less stays at a single wavelength. The Montenegrin song it feels cinematic. in a way, if that makes sense.
No, totally agreed. Yeah, and I think those were essentially the 2 points I think would be the grand, just yeah, the style of it. It seems like it could be in its own lane because it is so different from everything else. But yeah, I think the vocals could really stand out. But it really just depends on maybe even some of the other ones we'll talk about later today. Also, I think can bring that like big, strong vocal.
Sure. Yeah. And do we stream this one?
Yes.
I haven't a ton, but when I do really enjoy it. I feel like it's one that I have to be in like the right mood for. So it's not necessarily like a driving down the highway playlist where I'm kind of vibes, but
no, this is like a it's raining outside, let me go be dramatic in the rain kind of a song. Or like I'm in the shower and I want to be dramatic in the shower. Like that's what this is. But no, I think in the right mood when it hits me, I'm like, yes. Or it's also like a great one to have on my playlist. If I'm listening to too much pop in a row, it serves as like an excellent kind of like palate cleanser to just like cut through the noise and help me reset mentally. Because I usually just listen to work all day. I listen to music all day at work. So when this comes on the playlist, I don't like to skip it because it kind of helps me bring the energy back down. So I'm not just dancing on my desk.
I think that's a great way to see it too, like as a palate cleanser in all the pop, because there's a lot of pop going on. And this can provide a nice break, but at a weird time. Where it is in the running order is a weird time for this kind of a break.
I feel like, okay, here's my issue. This running order is BS. Like, it's just, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is awful. Because Montenegro comes on right after Australia. My best guess is it's because, they're twins, as Jordan has stated. Like, if this song came on, like, later in the running order, I think it could really shine and work as a great, like, kind of reset.
Yes.
But, like, this is a true first half of the second semi. And first half of the second semi, it's sharing space with, Greece, who we'll be talking about later. And, like, I'm just comparing it to other ballads. And JJ is from Austria. So, like, where are you going to put this one? And I'm just like, I would put it later. Like, I think going from Australia to, like, Ireland works.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, maybe putting Armenia after Ireland, or, like, maybe even Armenia in second in the running order. But, like, just something to keep the energy up. Because then we're going, like, high energy ridiculous in the form of Australia to something much lower energy. And it's, like, it's going to feel jarring to me going from that to that and then Ireland. And it's just, like, I don't like this running order. I think it's bad running order. But, hey.
They definitely should have switched them. They definitely should have switched those.
Whoever is making these running orders hates the Balkans. Mm-hmm. Like, they just hate them. Like, because consistently we see the Balkans, like, in the worst spots. Or some of the worst spots, you know?
Yeah, it's a shame.
Nanolo says, besides making Montenegro perform second because it's Montenegro, but could be because its stage will be dark in Australia and Ireland might be very pop. I would agree with that. I think, because I feel like Australia is going to have an ice cream truck. The person who's their stage director is the same person who did the stage direction for, oh my gosh, what were they called? Voyager. Did Voyager stage direction. So
there's going to be a prop.
Exactly.
Vehicle.
Also, I feel like Montenegro is not going to have a lot on stage because they don't have the budget for a lot on stage. So we want to make sure that there's enough time to move in set pieces. And so I guess that's why Montenegro ended up here. But we'll have to see what happens. You know, this is me just taking wild guesses based off of who's staging what and looking at the running order and knowing that the EBU wants to make sure pieces can be moved safely.
Mm-hmm. Good thing bold non-serif text is in their budget. I'm sorry. Kevin, you were going to say?
No. I was just going to say on the like the comments of on a playlist, this is a nice palate cleanser. Is that I feel like that's also true for just Eurovision in general, is that sometimes you hear people who are really into one genre or a group of songs and then just kind of dismiss the rest. But like, you don't want a contest that is just 100% pop or 100% not pop. Like the beauty, I think, of Eurovision is that you do have different sounds. So hopefully for people who don't enjoy this fully, they can still enjoy like the change or exposure to a different kind of music.
Yeah. And then Mark says, second in the running order still feels shitty to me. Honestly, why don't they put automatic qualifiers in those depth slots? They already get to be in the final. You know what?
I don't even know if they know what they're doing with the automatic qualifiers fully. Just there's not a ton of consistency, it seems, in where they're being placed.
I can't make sense of it.
I mean, I don't understand either. I like that they perform in the semis, though. I think that I like having the auto qualifiers there.
It's a very welcome change, but I do feel like that is going to also alter how people analyze the songs and who gets to go through. I feel like that's going to have a big effect on that.
Well, even you just see how many people talk about like the running order and slots and how many people have qualified from each position. Like that is completely out the window when you're now introducing people into the order that you can't vote for. So I feel like we would need like a decade of data before you'd be able to really assess how this has changed things.
Yeah, first year with a new formula.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's move on and talk about the next song on our block. That is Latvia with their wood nymphs, fairy princesses in the garden. It's Tautumeitas with, what was it, Lemon Burma? Oh my gosh. I have it title. Thank you. Burma and Laimi. All right, so let's.
I've been waiting 7 years for Tautumeitas to go to Eurovision. It's
been a while.
They've been so good for so long.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, lyrically speaking, another song. The translation is lyrics. The translation of the title is like a chant for happiness, and I think that it brings that happiness just based off the title alone. Because when I hear this, it's hard for me not to smile. Lyrics are kind of sparse, not gonna lie, but I do like the fact that in the first verse, it's very simple with curses and hexes. Never can they ruin me. Never, 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 never can they ruin me. And like, I think that kind of serves as its chorus. Well, I don't even know. Like, you can't even give it like a traditional structure, really, of like verses and choruses here. Others are making a bridge of steel. I'm helping an oak to grow. The bridge of steel turns to rust. My oak grows evergreen. It's very much like, and that's all the lyrics I've just basically said for the whole song, except for one part, which is I don't know my own happiness until I met my misery. It's just, it's very wood nymph or wood witch, like just like very much kind of like there's a certain kind of magic here, and it feels magical. And I think that the lyrics really suit the magic of the sound.
Yeah, last week I think I made a similar comment where I don't typically love repetition, but I do think it works with this style. And the lyrics that they do have that they aren't repeating, if we break that down, like the 3 different kinds of lyrics, probably. Yeah, I really do like that, the metaphor of like the bridge of steel that others are building while we are helping an oak to grow. Because I feel like that's such a metaphor for like reconnecting with nature and the natural world, very like spiritual, traditional. And like an oak tree is very strong, has deep roots, it's resilient. It's more maybe like the connection to ancestral wisdom, whereas there's the steel, which is very like the materialistic world, and maybe us losing our connection to that natural world. At least that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Someone can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think Latvia was like the last area of Europe to convert to Christianity from paganism. And like this has a very like
help us out in the comments.
Help us out.
I think I'm right. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say I'm right on that one. And I always kind of have the same kind of vibe from Latvian choral music. It's also like I'm not gonna say I know, but I'm pretty sure I've read that like there's a strong tradition of like choral chanting in Latvian music and culture. Because Latvia was one of the countries that helped, like part of their independence from the Soviet Union was the singing revolution, which is Latvia, Lithuania. I think Lithuania was involved as well. I know it's Latvia and Estonia were for sure, with basically holding hands and singing to kind of break away from the USSR. So I know that like in the sound of like women singing like in a choral group, it just makes me feel like it's very Latvian. Also, when we still had Eurovision Choir of the Year, like that contest only happened twice, but Latvia was like the powerhouse of that. And so we were able to get kind of like that sound here at Eurovision. I think it's really like nice to have.
Yeah, and with the chanting, the lyrics, and it's the power of chanting, it's the magic of the practice of chanting that every time you hear that lyric repeated, the music grows stronger, but also, and this can transition into production and genre, the production also grows stronger at the same time. So viewers who might not necessarily be able to engage with the fact that a certain chant is being repeated, and you should feed off of that, they're still going to experience that in the production itself. And I think that's really strong. And to tie it back to the metaphor that you guys pointed out, I think it's one of the strongest metaphors lyrically that we have in the show. I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
No, agreed. Yeah, I always like when it gets you to think beyond just like the length you've listened to the song, when it gets you to think afterwards about the deeper meanings.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll talk about production and genre here, which is magical chanting a genre?
It is now.
Okay.
I call it running through the forest music.
Yeah.
I was literally running through the forest listening to this.
Were you barefoot?
No, I should have been though. This was when I stayed on the Yurok Indian reservation when I was hearing this. So it was a very magical moment for me. It sounds like a wooden forest. It sounds like you're surrounded by foliage and birds and wind and rivers. It feels like you're there with the magic of nature. That's just 3 minutes of that, and I enjoy it so much because of it.
It's very, I don't know. I'm gonna put this like in the same kind of genre as like Bullen, for example, where
okay.
it has like this like ancient energy to it. Even like Goa, bringing their stuff. I guess, is this our like standard witch song of the year? Do we have to think witch song every year now? And so this is like our light magic working witches, our healers, our white mages. Yuna, Final Fantasy X-2. Let's go.
Can you imagine? Girls.
Guys, I have a video game for you to play. It's called Final Fantasy X-2, aka Pretty Dress Me Up Final Fantasy. Yes? No?
Tautumeitas, we need you on
next
cosplay.
Next campaign I do. I think this is my White Mages theme song.
Yes. Oh my! It would be so cute.
It feels like it fits.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's a little weird. Yeah.
But yeah,
even though you red mages might be better.
But yeah, there's like lots of layering, which I think at the start, the first couple times listening to it, I was thinking like, is it too much going on? But I think that's also like what you do experience when you are out in nature, is that there's tons of sounds going on and that you can select ones and listen to them. So recently when I've been listening, like I can focus on the vocals, or sometimes I'll just focus more on the instrumentation. But yeah, I don't even know how to describe the production really.
Magical wood nymphs running through the forest. Or
and the percussion sounds like a heartbeat too. Yeah. I enjoy that. I enjoy what that provides a lot.
I'm gonna cast healing.
Yeah.
Or my dice, I shouldn't have said white mage. It's a cleric if it's Dungeons and Dragons, but
they're giving us a buff nonetheless.
I totally knew the difference between those.
They're basically the same thing, but like
slight intricacies, but like the stories differ greatly.
Yeah, it's kind of like something within the ESC fandom versus to people outside, where you're like, for your purposes, they're the same.
Yeah,
in effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So unique elements. I mean, we've said it. It's like
everything. I think it's everything. Everything
it's
about
happiness.
it. Yeah.
Because do we have many like multiple women groups this year?
No, we don't.
Do we have women groups this year other than Tautumeitas?
Like the
I think they're the only
UK,
ones.
but
I mean, yeah.
And they
But
don't
they're
really give
automatic-
like group. They give like
qualifier.
3 individuals coming together kind of vibes.
Yeah, it's girl group versus choral group. I feel like is the distinction here.
Yeah, this
like-
is more choral.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Okay.
I count the backing singers from Ukraine?
Oh, the backing singers are from Ukraine.
I mean, that's the only other girl group we kind of have. No, this is
you're
very
talking about the
unique. It
Ukrainian
stands out.
entry. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm caught up now. But yes.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm interested in is if it's so unique that it falls into that, like you said, Fulen and even like AIA, where it's not the same sound by any means, but it's just that slight, this is not what you normally would see. Are people going to connect with it in the way that we would hope they could?
Mm-hmm.
I
hope
know.
so. I hope so.
Me too.
Because this in the final would be so refreshing.
I want this. No, this is in my final. I don't care what
It's in my final too.
I'll go fight somebody. Let's go.
I feel like it'd be really disappointing, if it didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that leads us to the next question, which is, what is it? I'm sorry.
How well can it be performed live?
Oh, we didn't
Needs a
answer
little
that for the previous song, but well.
Needs a little polishing, I think. Should we answer it for the previous song, or should we come back to it?
We'll come back to that. When it comes to this one live, it's fun. Vocally, it's perfection. I'm seeing pre-party performances. They're still good on like dinky little stages. My only complaint is I don't want them holding microphones, and that's like
that might be the issue. That honestly might be the issue.
The only problem I have with it. Other than that, I'm like, this is absolute perfection. Why are these women holding microphones?
Yeah, it just takes you out of the atmosphere, because you would not see people walking around in nature just holding microphones.
Yes. Give me the illusion that they're just able to project their voices like that without a mic. Give me like the little ones they put here for like musical theater.
Yeah. Let them use their hands to be whimsical, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what was that? The group from Dora, was it last year, that had a lot of fandom support, but then did not necessarily.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh, was it like Layla?
Like Navera, or
Yeah, I mean, it's like like the song was like something. Yeah, no, that was
harmonica something.
Harmonica.
Oh my gosh! But Dora always has like a choral girl group that flops live.
Whereas, like, I think this is what it would look like if it was done right. Like,
yes. I think it's the first time I've seen this like pulled off to this degree of like native traditional, almost prehistoricness with the girl group in this way, executed in this way. I think this is the first time, at least for me.
And then do we stream this?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
I do, but again, it's one of those ones where I feel like I won't stream it all the time, but it does just give a vibe that like you can't deny.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's look at some comments. Mark says, all of those people who buy those scented candles and fake rocks at the local markets better come out and vote for Latvia. It seems to be in. Yeah. If you're
don't you come from Berkeley, California like this.
If you're a Crystal Mommy, Sedona, Arizona, I need you all to come out and vote for Latvia.
Yeah, like who would be like if we had to choose a specific audience that like this song is absolutely for, would it be them? Would that be the
people who are very big fans of Disney's Fairies franchise?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And people who like to cast spells, so witches. But not
Europe has a number of witches still, so I mean, I feel like they'll tune in, they'll enjoy.
I feel like no.
And then like an incantation era of Eurovision.
And little girls.
Oh,
little girls.
I'm down.
Like
Let's do it.
Small children will also like this.
It's just so wonderful, you know.
It's very
it's full of wonder.
it makes you happy. Let's see here.
Happiness.
Okay, Ed. All right. Yeah, Ed APC says Latvia feels sort of like Vesna, but this is stronger, better performed, and Vesna landed 10th, I think. And Nanolo also thinks it's about the range this could get. I think Latvia can get as high as 7th or as low as 14th. Is that in the final? I hope that's the final.
I hope that's the final. Yeah. Oh, wow.
But honestly, when it comes to Latvia, it's a wide range of what could end up happening.
Well, and I think we talked about this with the groups, is that how it really depends on making, like, if you're a group, are you going to be strategic about having the lead stand out or everyone have their moment? Whereas I feel like this entry is they're almost like one organism together.
Yes. Yeah.
They're giving Portuguese Man of War 100%.
Oh my God.
That was a little weird. I don't know. I think they're very pretty organisms. But it's like a compound organism of a bunch of different little ones that join together to make one cohesive unit that like exists.
It's like the non-toxic midsummer.
Yes, exactly.
Like a stem cell.
I cast healing. Okay. And then Mark also says, I want Tautumeitas to make the soundtrack of the next Zelda game.
Ooh.
They would create such magic.
Can they do that? Like, what if they got on the video game like hype sphere? I feel like they could really jump into that. Girls. Like Taya, who suddenly became so successful. Or like Montaigne, who became a Grammy nominee off of video game music, that kind of a thing. You know?
I mean, like, oh no, I'm just like imagining this song in like a Zelda atmosphere, and I'm feeling it. Like, it's very much in my wheelhouse of things I would love.
Yes.
Mark, thank you for giving me something I would love to have that I'm never gonna have. Like, just dreaming of it.
That could come off so genuine, or like I'm angry at you now.
Okay. Georgios Papadopoulos says, I see a pathway, but I lean towards non-qualification for Latvia.
I do see the concern. I see the concern.
I understand there's like a worry, but at the same time, just like, let's manifest good vibes and good energy. And Nanolo clarified in the semifinal. Yeah. Latvia is usually weak with this televote.
But we got dogs out of nowhere.
Well, and like, to be fair, 2 years ago, they were 11th barely, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, Dons, I actually saw a path for Dons. I thought it was like, if the right people were voting at the right time, I felt like it could go through. But yeah, I do see the concern for this one, just on whether or not people are getting it. I think it's one that you really like need to be in a trance almost. And if you're maybe working at home with like 20 people at a watch party and you're not fully focused, I could see it maybe like passing some people by.
Yeah, I can see that as well. So we're going to just leave it off on a happy note, which is Sundrop Center saying, let's see Tautumeitas keep Latvia in the grand final.
We all cast the spell.
Yes.
This could be a start of a very long streak. Who knows?
Who knows? Like, yeah. So let's go ahead and let's talk about Greece. Greece brought back a national final, and via this national final, we got the winner, Klavdia, with the song Asteromáta. So, who wants to kick things off?
I will. So, with this song, I like what Greece is. I like the trajectory Greece has been on in the last couple years. Not necessarily results driven, but artistic pieces that will leave an impact with you. And this fits in that motif so well. The storytelling in the lyrics, it like whenever I hear family stories in Eurovision, sometimes it can come off as like jarring or forced. It does not feel that way with this. I mean, when it comes to jarring or forced, even if it's a good song, you still kind of get that sense, like with Mikkel Skulta in 2018, the German song, as genuine as that kind of felt, it like in the Eurovision type of environment did seem a little off center. This feels like it not only has the right platform, but the story feels it feels absolutely connected to homeland, to family, personally, and I just think it's gorgeous. I think lyrically this is a very impactful, strong story.
And I think it does use another metaphor that is really done effectively of like the relationship between mother and child and how they both kind of like are able to comfort each other. And then, yeah, that translation to like people in their homeland kind of. So I think it's, again, a pretty strong lyrical song.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
But those words probably were amazing.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, my light was falling down and fell off into my mic. It was a whole to do. Yeah, I think lyrically this one I would agree completely with you all. I do like the kind of relationship between mother and daughter and the reliability of mother and daughter or mother and child. Really, it helps boost this one. And I like having a personal story. I think that, you know, it's something that you can relate to on a micro level, even if you necessarily didn't go through the same exact struggles. Everyone does go through struggles at some point, you know.
I do appreciate very much how this is a song like that has a very strong theme of stars, but it's not like a BS stars kind of Eurovision song. Because how many like star songs, you know? I mean, there are a ton of like songs and entries that allude to the stars or have some kind of connection to them, national final, Eurovision, otherwise. But that kind of seems like it's there for a rhyme. This, it's called Starry Eyed, and it is talking about a very specific look in a moment. And I like how it actually employs that as opposed to just throwing a star in there because it rhymes with the previous line. I like that.
It's also coming off like as a term of endearment as well. And like having someone being a guiding light for you. Yeah. I think that's like it's really beautifully done there. Right.
And actually, yeah, because sorry, I was just going to add on the star note because actually, Jordan, I think did you say Baller had some of your favorite lyrics too?
Yes,
and that
Baller also did.
Like it uses stars, but maybe in a bit more of a typical sense, but still not standard.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that about it too. And we're seeing unconventional uses of the meaning of stars in the countries that start with G.
But not in a like Malta National Song Contest title of song name where it's like, where is this coming from?
No, I mean, as much as I love MESC, I'm clocking it, girl. So do we move on to production and genre?
It's just like a beautiful ballad.
Yeah.
Very Greek.
Very Greek.
I was gonna say it tells you where in the world it is from the sound alone. Like you know this has happened. This is a song from Greece, and I like that. Like I wasn't minding too much Greece doing kind of like their not sounding Greek sound thing they were doing because I did really enjoy the songs from like Better Love. I liked Die Together a lot as well. However, I like it best when Greece sounds Greek. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I have that kind of like that's my bias towards them or against them, if you want to call it that. That I want Greece to sound like they have a song that sounds Greek.
Yeah, totally agreed. And they're keeping up that tradition from last year, even though the tone shift is very significant. It was extremely Greek last year. It's extremely Greek this year. I hope they similarly get a good result this year with it. But Greek ballads, as we've seen, they're risky. They're very risky. But I'm hoping for the best for this one. I'm seeing a better trend, or at least that's what I'm projecting.
Yeah, off that, I know I've seen some comments comparing it a bit to, was it Oniro Mu? Although, like for me, I actually saw that as a non-qualifier. Like very strong. I know
Kevin.
some people are upset about that. But I just, when I was seeing it live, I was not. I'm just stating that I was able to predict the fact of what happened, and now I'm getting kicked out. Wow. No, but I wanted to like that song so much more than I actually ended up liking it. Whereas this one, right from the get-go, like this is impacting me. I really like to the progression, like maybe the first pre-chorus where they use the flutes sound, but then later it's the vocals doing that. All those like little progressing changes. And I feel like the melodies really stand out too. Like after listening a couple times, I could hum different parts of the song. So yeah, hopefully that helped with my earlier slander.
Oh, that's okay. I wouldn't cancel you over that.
I mean, it was a week before the final that we saw a blue hand, and that was kind of the moment I had to accept things. I had to accept the reality of things. But yeah. That's how it is.
Right. So there's a complexity to this song that, like, I think rewards repeat listenings. Kind of speaking to your point where you can hum different melodies that occur in the instrumental.
And even like you can get into it towards the end too, which is not always. I mean, that's a bit of a trend this year too, where people are progressing and then there's some really heavy bass or like sometimes even dance is introduced to the end of songs. So I feel like there is starting to be a bit more of a trend of people realizing like you need to start off a little smaller, grow, and then really build towards the end.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So unique elements.
To me, this is the family story song that I believe is the strongest, because we also have songs like How Much Time Do We Have Left that uses the word diagnosis in the third line. That kind of throws you out of it. Well, I mean, okay, I have another offhand comment that you guys are going to get mad at me for. I'll save it for the end of my thought. But with this song, when you're brought in to the lyrics of the song is right at the beginning after my star, my sweet mother, do not weep. So immediately we're addressing like the need for comfort. We're addressing the need for each other and family. That already completely encases you in whatever narrative is going to happen next. And I adore that. Giorgio says, for the Greek diaspora, this is 1944. Oh, I wonder what you mean by that, because I could really use that personally. Anyways, the offhand comment that I was going to make is that I do see this song kind of similar to How Much Time We Have Left, but the reason why, not because it's Balkan, not because it's a ballad, but because they would both kind of do well with like a bachata remix. Let's move on to whoever has the next thought.
I'm going to move away from that thought because, goodness, Jordan, you're just saying stuff today, aren't you?
I guess so. I don't know where that thought came from. It just occurred to me now. So
no, I think the uniqueness here just really lies like the overall presentation and package. I think this is just something that's really beautifully done. And I just hope the staging isn't bad.
Well, yeah, I think that's the piece that it shouldn't be, because they've probably had lots of opportunity to hear feedback based off of the national final. And yeah, like the song isn't the issue. The vocals aren't really the issue. It's just bringing that to life, I think, a bit more, because they looked dead in a twist of hair.
Yeah.
They've had time, as you said. They've had time, and if they decided not to consider that at all, like with Oniromu, who had nothing but time, and then the pyro was even late showing up to the show, that they've made that mistake in the past, so they have something to work off of. They have errors to have learned from. So yeah.
All right, so let's see here. How well can this be performed live?
Flawlessly.
Beautifully.
Pretty well, yeah.
No negative thoughts there. And do we
I don't
stream
have
this?
a note. Oh, I don't skip it. I
know you don't. No, I'm in the same boat with this one. I adore this. It's something, again, when you need a breather, it comes on and it's just like a great cleansing moment.
And it's one too that, like, if you want to belt the notes, you can with this song, or if you want to like bop your head to it, you can as well.
Agreed.
The structure really works well for that. So just looking at some comments. So we have Nanolo saying, I'm a little worried. Many of these countries in the semifinal normally ignore Greece, Lithuania, Latvia, Denmark, Austria. All gave 0 to Greece in 2022 semifinal and compared to another good ballad. I mean, true, but there's also countries that are here that will, give you guys some love, will give Greece some love. I know Australia has a massive like population of Greek people who live there. So like the diaspora should hopefully kick in and get some points from that one. I would also imagine, like, I think Armenia traditionally gives quite a few points to Greece as well. So I think Greece isn't starting at 0.
Also, in 2022, we were surrounded by female ballads. We were surrounded by like woman melancholy. And that was something that I don't feel like was able to isolate Amanda Tenfjord super well because of all that similarity, despite the quality of the song. So we run into that a lot less this year. So hopefully.
And also, I don't think they nailed the staging in 2022 either. So
I liked it.
And they still
bad, but I liked it.
Mark says, I hope Greece is staged well. We don't need Klavdia in a Wild Thornberry's outfit with her face plastered all over an LED screen.
They did that 16-year-old so dirty. Oh my god.
Oh, that poor child.
He
we
was
don't need any
jumping
smashing.
around.
Yeah.
But honestly, like he and the Romanian kid, they were both done dirty. They were both literally just given an outfit and pictures of themselves and were told, go, do it. And that sucks. That really sucks.
Okay, and then we see Ed APC says, Focus is doing the Greek staging. His delivery is extremely hit or miss. Focus tends to throw everything at the kitchen, like everything at the stage a lot of the time. Yeah. And this song doesn't need everything.
Minimalist. Let's be minimalist.
Yeah.
The Laurel Barker of stagings.
Oh my gosh. You need to stop. She did nothing to you.
She's written the best bops and the worst songs at the same time in the same years. So.
Thomas Jason.
It's dichotomy of life.
Similarly so.
Like, I don't know how I feel about that, man. I don't know. My thing is like just like when you put out so much work, you're gonna get like creatively drained at some point or another, you know.
Yeah.
So
there will be duds. It's just you would think maybe you would recognize a bit more when the duds exist.
Yeah.
This means you focus.
So we're gonna go ahead and go on to our next entry we're talking about, and that is Albania, and it's Shkodra Elektronike with their song Zjerm. So I think I need to start by just saying I love this song.
I love it. Yeah,
I love it.
It's so good. Lyrically, this is like, oh man, it's like the contrast between wanting a hopeful, bright future and believing that the best in humanity, and then at the end when oh my gosh, what's his name? Kola? I'm not trying to pronounce his name. The man.
Yeah, it's, if anyone knows in the live chat, yeah, it's the E with the umlaut, I think, on it. Which I don't know.
Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Anyways, I just want to say, like, he comes in and kind of like acts as like your like voice of less than happiness. You're kind of a voice of like, I know you think things are good, but come on, let's be a little pessimistic. Like he's the devil in your ear almost telling you like to not have that joy and that hope. And it's like, I like that contrast, but still ultimately we end up like on a hopeful letter. Yeah,
I feel like the lyrics are pretty timely they're very relatable with just current global events.
100%.
Personal things that people are going
1,000%.
And I really I looked further into is it Aman Miserere that she repeats twice right before, I think, getting into the chorus, where it's like a Turkish term or exclamation, but it's used amongst Albanians. That's pretty popular. It's derived, I think the Amen part is the Turkish part that is derived from Arabic and is more of an Islamic call for protection. And then the Miserere part means have mercy and comes from a psalm in the Bible. So they are pairing like an Islamic call for protection with a Christian call, which also is very much like where they live and are from. There's like a big population of Muslims and Christians together who have been living in relative harmony. I can't say like full harmony, but relative harmony. So it's also just a really beautiful way that they've connected those together that leads to a grander, I think, message of Like we are all able to coexist together if we choose
Yeah.
to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. The dichotomy of I didn't even see that before, but the dichotomy between the Muslim element of Aman, kind of the historicity behind that, and Miserere, it's very specifically kind of like an Albanian experience. In Albania, well, I mean, like they invented these lyrics together, but it would only really come from Albania, I feel like. So that is something that could portray nationalism without being an "I love Belarus" kind of a situation. You know, it has an Albanianness to it that feels distinct in a way that I would compare to even Theotokos in 2019. That level of demonstration of culture and concern. And going back to Lili's point, how we see this grand optimism in Fire, the song literally being called Fire, but the contrast I also didn't recognize from what the male vocalist was bringing. I knew that he had like a darker element, but I didn't necessarily see it as a contrast. I think that's very interesting. Also, I need to succinctly bring up that this is the only danceable song that when I read the lyrics and heard the song, it actually brought me to tears. Like there's a strength emotionally in how the metaphor is constructed here that it takes a very rare kind of a alignment of things for a dance song to bring me to tears, but it happened here. That's just how strong lyrically I believe it to be.
Yeah, no, I just like I love these lyrics so much. I think that they do speak very well to where we are in the world. In a lot of places, you know, not just being Amerocentric, but in a lot of places, there is definitely like it's odd because it's like you had this, or like there's this whole swell and like this hope for everything. Oh yeah, no, we've got the internet now, you know, knowledge at our fingertips. We can learn anything. That's going to be great for expanding global knowledge. Or like we've got, you know, everyone's communicating with each other. That means we can have peace easily and stuff. And it's like, nah, turns out we can't, guys. So I do like the hopefulness contrasting with the negativity, but at the same time, we do live in a world where over time we are progressing, ultimately. And I think that this song does a wonderful job of kind of showing a hopeful progress, but also a pullback and a realization that progress isn't always linear.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I guess talk about production and genre.
Again, great.
Like, no. It's just very much it does what I want a good fic song to do.
Yeah.
Which is it marries in that like traditional element with the modern very nicely. And like you said, it's danceable, but at the same time, it has lyrics that make you cry. I don't know what box I would necessarily put this in genre-wise, but whatever genre it is, I'm into it.
It's something fusion, I feel like. It's got it, because it doesn't really stand in one box or another. Very traditional, but also contemporary electronic pop, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, for me, it's interesting because it does sound so, well, I'll get to this later, unique. But it has that like universal kind of quality to it as well, where like I could see this being really successful around the world in many different parts, whereas I don't always get that from every kind of Eurovision song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess unique elements.
Wait, hold on.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was honestly just thinking about how I was going to frame this. So the unique element, I love how they're production and genre still. I like how they're not scared of using a really heavy bass as just a single component in certain seconds of the song. Kind of like that. No, that hits. It allows the chorus production. It allows the verse production to have that element of fire, of burning, of kind of like so when that instrumental kicks in during the chorus, like the dun 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 dun, and yeah, it almost sounds like to me, it reminds me of like dancing around a fire, literally. and to kind of tie it back to a similar sensation that I get from Latvia, there is an ancientness to this that comes from the repetition in the instrumentation when the chorus is happening. And then when the verses are happening, it's more like lift and fall. And I think it's incredibly unique because it's also really electronic. It kind of reminds me of GAJA in a sense, how they were able to blend those things, but the approach is completely different. I think it's stellar. I think production-wise, this is at least in my top 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just super dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, unique elements. I don't think there's. I'm gonna say I think everyone likes the song. I don't know anyone who dislikes this song. I think that's like probably like the most unique element about it is like this is like the Eurovision song this year that everyone can join hands and say yes. Like I don't think anyone would be angry if this won in the fandom.
Yeah, like I guess there could be some that just maybe don't get it, but I don't think they'd necessarily dislike it.
Yeah. It's like I saw a TikTok that was funny. It was basically like taking like not clip art, what is it called? Stock photos of people arguing in business suits. And it was like talking about, oh, Finland is great. And then someone's like, no, this song's great, like arguing. And then everyone's holding hands and agreeing that like, yes, Albania is good. So yeah, it was kind of like no one argues like, oh yeah, no, this isn't good. Yeah. What about you guys? What is your unique element when it comes to this one?
There are a lot.
Yeah,
honestly,
there are a lot.
But yeah, I do think the production and the instrumentation doesn't sound like anything else. And I think based off of that too, they also, to Jordan's point, like with the bass that they brought in, they've already added an element of crowd interaction as well with the clapping. So there's a way to get the audience into it, which I think is really intelligent. And yeah, it is so dynamic. Like, do we have another song where we go from like one person focus and then more so to another person focus and then
Not
back?
really.
Probably
not. And I did see their recent performance. Was that just yesterday? Where
Eurovision concert.
Where I think Cole, pronunciation to be determined, was off stage for the first part and then came on, whereas at Fick, like he was there the whole time, just off. So I think they probably have some opportunity to figure out how they want to bring him in, if he's going to be there the whole time or if it's more of a like goodbye to yesterday like entrance.
Yeah. Also, I would like to see them really utilize the satellite.
Yeah.
Stage, like with him, kind of putting him on the satellite stage. I'm just really curious as to how they're going to stage this because I think Albania is pretty smart with staging, even like on a shoestring budget. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it flops, but I think that was more the artist and the staging director for that one.
So one thing that I really think is unique about this song, and this is closer to Lily's point, but because that there is not really a comparison prior in Eurovision, this is going to set its own path. It is going to set a record for songs that could be similar to it. It will be the song that future songs will be compared to if they go this angle, this route. Very few songs are able to say that they were able to change the trajectory of the sound of Eurovision. This is one of those songs where I feel like that definitely is the case. So yeah, just the experimentation of it, the uniqueness, the kind of like radioactive quality of it, it's going to change how the contest sounds. I'm betting on that now.
Well, and that's a great point too. Because some years there are songs where it feels like this is a song that does belong in this year, but it isn't bringing us forward. Like it's a song that's popular right now because of the trends. Whereas this one is one that feels like it's bringing you into the future.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with that statement there. Then we have to know how well it can be performed live. Wonderfully. Though I think Cole needs a little more stage presence because he looked terrified at Fick. So it's like one of those things where half of it is very strong stage presence wise. Meanwhile, like if we just get Cole a little riz, I think it could really work.
Yeah, it feels like maybe he just doesn't, or at the time of the performance, it could have been like an overwhelming amount of support and kind of shock. So maybe he's hopefully been able to grow into the like, people like this, people like me, and can really have fun on the stage.
Maybe let's give him like a little flow rider moment. Who knows?
Is he going to judge a wet teacher contest to mix rehearsals?
He better not. He better not, because Tirana sounds like a good plan to me next year.
I mean,
he better not.
Well, and just think about how impactful that would be for the contest, not just in the music that we would get, but also like the Balkans right now are an area that we are seeing people drop out, or there's concern about the long term. So people were so focused on Croatia possibly hosting, but maybe it'll be Albania.
I'm down. I'm totally down with it. I'm not gonna lie. Number one, I have two different Instagram accounts. My one Instagram account assumes I live in the Balkans already. I keep getting adverts for like, come visit Albania. And I'm like, hey, okay. Sure. No, I really like this one. And then I think it's obvious that I stream it. It's crazy because it's one of the first songs we had, and we're like, yeah, this is still awesome.
Yeah, it hasn't been touched since then. Like, it's been up there.
Well, that's the thing, is thinking about, often people will just dismiss often the first few songs, just because like the grass is always greener. We don't want to start off at a 9 or a 10 and then everything else turns out to be even higher. But yeah, I think because last year it was France was first, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then this year, like, we could have back-to-back years where there's like top fives from the first song that was released. And it got hype. Like, France last year got tons of hype initially, but then because of the length of time and other songs, it was dropping off. And I think people forgot that it could be a threat. Whereas this one, I think, has stayed a little more in the fandom, at least, as a favorite.
Yeah.
It hasn't lost heat this whole time. It's stayed loved, as you guys were saying.
Okay, yeah. Georgios Papadopoulos says, I love Albania. Yes.
Yep.
Peter Hadich says, Albania coming finally for top 10 finish. It hasn't happened since what, 2012?
12. Seuss, when they got fourth.
Seuss.
No,
6th. I think. Wasn't Seuss 6th?
I believe it was. I think, was it 6th? No, it was 4th, because I remember Serbia got 3rd.
Okay. Oh, Kevin's gonna fact check us.
I'm gonna check.
Okay, no, please do, because we don't want to provide inaccurate information.
Watch us both be wrong. It was like 5th.
It was 5th. So, well, actually, that is often a scientific reality, is that when people are individually guessing, when you compare all the individual guesses together in a consensus guess, it's typically better than either individual. So just a great story here of the strength of you two together was.
Thank you.
Where the solution was, yeah.
Oh, this would be a great
what a nice
song
learning
from
moment.
Top 5 like Seuss.
Let's
see here. Mark says, I'm living in the delusion that Albania can win the whole thing. This is my number 1. I want this to get their best ever result, at least. So 3rd or 4th. Like, it's so good. I think like just everyone likes this song. And I feel like juries would also give this love as well. And I feel like the general public tuning into Eurovision are going to enjoy this. I think Albania tends to bring stuff that people kind of like want to watch and want to see.
Yes.
So yeah.
To kind of respond to your earlier point about how this song has like kept steam the entire time without losing it, it's really interesting because typically in Eurovision, when we see songs come out and we're trying to assess how competitive they are, we started this year with 2 ethnic songs. And just like every year, it's like as soon as we get the pop songs, all y'all ethnics to the back immediately, but Albania stayed.
Yeah.
Albania stayed.
Albania, you can stay.
Very significant to me. Yeah. Hang on to that, girl, please. Please.
Well, even in its final, like, there was a clear fandom fave that was returning that many people would have loved to see go to Eurovision. And yet Albania did not win, but the response was not like negative. It was almost like people were still happy that this song won, which if you weren't paying attention, you probably would have expected there to be like a huge response from the fandom just being so terribly upset. But I'm sure there were those people. But in general, I think we were excited to see this win, and even people that did not vote for it or supported it as their favorite have hopefully come around to it.
I mean, maybe Albania should have brought a better song. That's all I'm saying. Like
Carnival was a football.
Here's my issue. I'm gonna say, do not bring a song to a contest that every other national final has.
Well, that's the thing. Is like this stands out so uniquely, especially when you directly compare it to Carnival. And I think this is actually where people want Eurovision to go in general, is the things that feel more authentic, that do bring you into their culture, again, without feeling inauthentic. And I think they've just really found, I think they've threaded the needle. And I do think they could pull off a win, hopefully.
Okay,
I hope so. I really hope so.
Incubus Otterman says they've done a number of pre-parties and he seems better on stage now. Okay, so that's good to know. Diego Rodriguez says, love Zjerm the first listen, love it even more after knowing all the layers of the lyrics.
No one dislikes this song. Nobody dislikes it.
No. Then we're going to just wrap it up on one more note here, which is, if I worked at RTSH, I would start contacting Bebe Rexha for the interval performance. I'll raise you up.
Girlies.
I'll raise you up. I want a performance. I don't know how you make it happen. Give me all the Albanian girlies in pop music.
Yes.
Make them come together and form a super group just for one night. And it will go down as one of the best interval acts of all time.
Because we got vocalists, we got women who can dance. They're all pretty. Albanian's a gorgeous language. Like, bring the girlies, bring all the girlies, because that's what FIC is. It's all about the girlies.
Yeah, so we'll Dua Lipa, Bebe Rexha, Rita Ora. Yeah. Am I missing someone?
Era Istrefi.
I mean, I'm talking about people like international.
Oh, people who've broken at least the UK
Ava Max.
market.
That's what I was missing.
Ava Max. Yeah.
Give me that. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to talk about our last song, which is a returning artist back after 30 years. Oh my goodness, that made me feel ancient just saying.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. Justyna Steczkowska is back for Poland with the song GAJA, and I consider this to be a redemption of what happened last year.
Everyone remembers Justyna last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it basically the same song? Yes. But that didn't go to Eurovision, did it?
It is kind of like if last year was Eurovision 2020 and we weren't able to send that song because it just something happens, and so we'll send a different version, but still artists.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I really like that song, Taylor Not So Swift, but it didn't have like the shrieking impact that Wichita Horo immediately did within seconds.
Here's the thing. I actually like Luna's album she put out.
Yeah, it's good.
She's put out like 2 albums since Eurovision. Yeah. They're both pretty good.
Well, I didn't know it was 2. Wow.
Yeah, she's done 2. Like, one's mostly Polish language, the other one's mostly English. Yeah, no. I've been listening to her newer music like consistently, so would recommend. Like, who did I take? Blanca last year.
Oh.
If you don't know yet, Kevin, I may not have told you this, and everyone else here. Blanca has put out the song of the summer, Bebe. Has given us one of the best pop songs. It's so summery and fun. It's called Guilty. Listen to it. If you like bubblegum girly pop, it's 100% the song of the summer. I'm telling you right now. Like, I heard it and stopped me in my tracks. I was like,
one of her other songs last year. Was it? I forget. I'll find it later and send it to you.
Sorry. Anyways, we're talking about Justyna right now.
The lyrics.
Lyrically. They call me GAJA. You know who's been hurting me? You know who had my love for nothing. You marked me with your sins. You woke up the scream of loneliness within me. It's giving Earth Goddess looking for revenge because humans have polluted the planet. I don't know what else to say besides that.
Well, yeah, another one where like you could interpret it in a way that like it is applicable if you want to do the storyline of like a woman experiencing rejection or pain, and then kind of like reclaiming that control over their life or autonomy. Or yeah, I very much read into this is symbolism for the world as a whole, and how again, it gets you to think beyond, I think, just the lyrics as they are.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
I mean,
what
this
does
could
it mean
also,
to be?
looking at how she performs now, I think she's in her 50s, and how she like just performs like an absolute beast on stage still.
100%.
She very well could be the god, like the earth goddess Gaia. Like, for all we know, this is her coming out and confessing to us that she's an immortal being. Like, that's a very real possibility.
I mean, belting while spinning for several seconds. But there are those out here in their 20s who haven't even tried to attempt that because they don't have the breath control.
Honestly, her and Ruslana both are like, just like, they show up and they're like, let me show these little girls how we do this. It's like, I don't know what to say other than they're both very powerful beings.
They threw a virgin into a volcano. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, they've given some kind of thing to a greater thing in order to live a longer life and be flourishing more.
I think we have the best of the lyrics right now from Ed APC. It's saying, I am mother, I am here. Oh, I'm sorry. I am mother, here I am. 100%.
Hear me roar.
Dizzy how? Because she's the planet Earth. Earth is spinning constantly.
Oh shoot! Yeah. I just got chills. I didn't even I
didn't like
make that connection.
Yeah. like no, she's gone above and beyond this.
It's badass. So like, lyrically, this is a badass song, even if it does register a lot of crying and sadness and just those negative kind of sad emotions. It's badass. Like, the way that the song was written, how she describes herself, it's being it's being a divine figure without coming off cheesy, like Zanova San's song in the Greek national final. I could be Athena or Aphrodite if you know what I mean. Like, hold that thought.
If you know what I mean.
I mean, there's some debate. I was gonna say, there's some debate amongst scholars that Athena was a warrior goddess at one point prior to being introduced into the Greek pantheon. I could go into that because I'm a Greek mythology nerd. Look at me. Like, it's obvious. But no, I think that this is just so, like, it's very campy but very powerful, and it's like, lyrically, it's nothing super deep lyrically, but like it's an announcement, and then you get into like the production, and it's like, no, this is me beckoning forth all of my power, worship now. Like, she's just,
and she shows us power. Amazing. She's up there and she shows us that power. That's an incredibly difficult performance, possibly the most difficult to perform this year.
Yeah.
So damn.
Yeah.
She's done it. Poland is a different era for you.
Well, yeah, similar to a few of the songs we talked about today, it's also, again, mixing that like traditional sound, but with the modern experimental kind of sounds. And yeah, I feel like that really has been doing well at Eurovision recently. And I think, it does kind of bring you back to like the classic Eurovision and like, what do people tune in and expect to see? And I think this is something that you would expect to see, but not in the like early 2000s bad end of the spectrum. It's in the good
like,
end.
I already brought up Ruslana. It's wild dances. It's like
dark clothing and everything.
I don't know how else to phrase it other than like, it's Peter Hadich, definition of Eurovision mother.
Precisely.
1,000%. Like, it's yes. No notes. Perfection on that statement. Sorry. Yeah.
This is such a good episode. That's all I want to say right now. This is such a good episode.
It's like, I want to phrase this in the ways that are coherent. It's everything I want to see in a Eurovision entry. Yeah. Okay. Unique element. Justyna, does she count as a unique element? Because no one else can do this.
The belts. Oh my gosh.
Call her Polita. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it is fair to say she is the unique element too, because they're like, how many broadcasters are going to mention, obviously, how long ago she did perform at Eurovision, and I feel like that can kind of boost people's interest too. And if they see this level of performance from someone that they think, oh, 30 years later, what are they going to give us? Like, this is maybe not what you're expecting.
Exactly.
Like, I will say this. There's something very powerful to me about a woman over like 40 showing up looking amazing and giving you a performance that like just no one else can do it like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just a power in that, because I think like as society we write off women so fast as they age, and I think that she's bringing kind of like a conflict in that.
It's also to say that, like, ever since 1995, when she first participated, she has remained in a very unique space, because the song that she had back then sounded nothing like anything Eurovision had prior. It sounds like nothing Eurovision has tried to replicate since. And although this kind of seems more Eurovision formula nowadays, she did still kind of cut that section of the cloth for herself, and she still owns certain amounts of other property that other performers aren't fully capable of embodying this year once again. So yeah, you guys are completely correct. She is the unique element. But something that just occurred to me that I hope we get this year, similar to 1995, I like the first 15 seconds, I want to hear the shittiest piccolo solo ever. Okay? I want to hear that again. I want to hear just off-key flute or like whatever that instrument was for like 15 seconds. Yes, that's something I adored in 1995. Just the horrendous instrumental leading into her singing. I hope they bring that back. Not for her result, but I hope they bring it back for me. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember the sound of that, whatever that was?
Oh yeah, no, I remember her performance very vividly. Like, I can picture it in my head.
Yeah, she had fun. She had a ton of fun up there.
Yeah.
I guess have we talked about because it has, is it Old Slavic is used in the one part, I think.
Maybe.
I'm not. I know there is about that.
There is a section where I think they do use a different language. I think it's maybe towards the end or like the bridge.
Like the Jago Raga.
Yeah, I think that part. And similar to what we've said about a couple other songs earlier, I think that is more of a like magical chant section.
Yes.
Bringing.
I like where it is
feeling
too.
Or strength. So yeah, maybe today is just like the spiritual bop day.
Spiritual bop day. Hello, welcome.
That's kind of where it's headed. Yeah.
Do you like spiritual bops? I am a spiritual bop.
I've gone through.
I am that.
Yeah. And obviously, like the notes, those are going to stand out completely.
That chanting section that you just mentioned, I like how it's toward the end, and I like how it harkens back to Wichita Horo, because I mean, who's going to copyright strike that? Who's going to do that? It's her song. It's still her song.
She's going to copyright herself, strike herself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is in a like Cleopatra Mata Hari kind of back-to-back?
I think it's
situation?
Graduated from that, personally. I think this has elevated slightly more than the trajectory of those two. I felt like those two were more parallel versus Wichita Horo and GAJA. I feel like GAJA is elevated from the previous song.
Yeah, I think this is like an elevation of it. It's like, it's clear what you going for similar sounds. All right. Words are hard. What am I thinking about saying now? How well could it be performed live? Next question. Why you been asking that?
Next question. Like, don't insult me.
I'm not going to find out the answer. Like,
she's like, I've seen how things have gone the last 29 years, and I am going to show you up.
She's like,
yeah, you all need help.
You see, I'm going to spin around, hanging from an aerial like acrobat thingy, trapeze.
It is
that
very,
what those are called?
Yeah.
And I'm going to belt out notes and spin in a circle. And I'm going to get down and keep going. Girl, what?
It is very mother energy in so many ways.
Yeah, that's the only word is mother. Like mother.
Also,
preferably pronounced like...
Oh, yeah, you're saying? Sorry, finish
I'll
that.
say preferably pronounced like a Long Island accent.
Mother.
Yes.
Like with long nails.
Yes.
You guys, this gives me winter energy. Like I get winter energy out of this. I'm not necessarily saying I project seeing her win, but what she brings in those 3 minutes, what I receive is she's here to win. Like she is absolutely here
she's
until
the
the very
confidence of
last
a winner.
point. She has already kind of won, in my opinion, with her approach to this entire thing. So the triumph of it all, insane.
Well, yeah, and I think people have talked about it being placed second in the running order, but again, I think it's a case where like it's gonna
no matter where,
stand out, wherever it's
placed. I don't understand why this is second in the running order. This should be your opener. In the first semi,
they were just being goofy.
Imagine if this was the opener in the first semi. Everyone goes, I'm watching Eurovision immediately. Like this, and then you can also like, and kind of talk about the fact that, here we have an opening act who's been here before 30 years ago. Like it transitions wonderfully. Like she should have been the opening. I don't care what anyone says. Who's opening the first semi?
I don't remember.
Iceland? Is it?
Oh,
I would have opened with this over Iceland.
Wait, it's so what, like, Kevin, could you please verify who the first 3 to perform in this semifinal are? Because I
got it right here. Hold on.
I'm slightly puzzled by those 2 in order.
It's Iceland, Poland, Slovenia.
So yeah, I feel like maybe they're trying to draw in like the younger audience with Iceland. Who knows?
That's a good idea for the younger audience. And then they pull the older audience in with GAJA. So, I mean, we're all together, kind of.
And then they keep the older audience.
And then they isolate the audience again with Tommy Cash. Because Estonia's 4th.
It's like we need to give...
I'm sorry. Like, Slovenia as 3rd in the running order is weird. I mean, guess that's your bathroom break.
And like obviously it does have to follow something, but yeah, sometimes with those kinds of songs you don't want it to be right after like everyone is so hyped up, because you want to give it a chance for people to connect with it and not just be like, oh, this is so much not as instantly hype as the last song.
Like I'm looking at the first half of semi 1 and it's a lot of energy happening in that first half.
I feel like Portugal will be a nice little like breather, hopefully.
Yeah,
Portugal's 4,
comes
right?
No, Portugal's 7th. Okay, it's Iceland, Poland, Slovenia, Estonia, Ukraine, Sweden, Portugal, Norway.
I don't like that at all. I don't like the order of that at all. What the hell?
But because I think there might be a commercial break between either Ukraine and Sweden.
Or Sweden,
yeah, it sounds like that's there's a commercial break probably there, because Ukraine has such a big stage.
Maybe I think it might be between Sweden and Portugal, because I mean, like, you have a band having to set up after like disassembling a sauna.
Maybe there's probably if the commercials between Sweden and Portugal, I worry less for Portugal. If the commercials between Ukraine and Sweden, I worry more for Portugal. But we're not talking about Portugal, we're talking about Ukraine. I'm sorry, we're talking about Poland. So, do we stream this song? Obviously.
So good.
I will say at the start, I don't know if it was just because I wasn't as into the Poland final as I was other ones. So I wasn't streaming it a ton at the start, but now I am a lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a grower at the same time, because I kind of felt like how you felt. It wasn't always there for me, but it didn't take very long. It didn't take very long for me, at least.
And yeah, I do think, again, it's one that really benefits from having the visual component, because there is quite a lot of time where it's just a single note that's being held.
Yeah.
But when you hear that versus when you see like everything happening, I feel it really comes together live.
Yeah, it's for the spectacle.
It's much better live, but I still do enjoy the song itself, because I have a good like memory when it comes to visualizing things. So I visualize her performance when I hear the song. Let's look at some comments. Mark says the semi is crazy. We go from two annoying little brothers to the mother quake of the century.
Don't do Jedward like that.
Unironically,
like that.
I have a friend who loves Jedward, like, to an unhealthy level. I think it's just because she's Irish and is the right age to have been like a huge Jedward fan. I should show her vibe.
I don't like how close their faces are together every time they're on camera together. Like that it's giving me Shining. But
I like, you know what? I told Jordan this earlier. I've come around on Raw. I actually really like this song now. It took a while.
It's a nice song. It's
but I'm
sweet.
into it now.
Yeah. I think because what is that one? Last year in Melfest, there were the two songs that was like Ipa Dunk or something. The 30 Trento Come and whatever the other song was, where it was like the younger sound. They would only drive in their cars like 30 kilometers an hour and blast this kind of music in the rural areas.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember.
Where it has that kind of like element to it where like I think this sound, once I started to view it in that lens, I was like, oh, okay, I understand it a bit more.
Yeah, this is basically for teenagers making music for their friends, kind of a sound, and that's why I kind of vibe with it.
Yeah.
You know what I saw on TikTok? I saw little white boys in a garage band making rock music, and I felt like the world has healed something.
We're back in America.
Oh God, we're back. Like, I was just like,
we're back.
And like literally the comments were all like, "Thank God they're not rapping." It was just like nature's healing. Like, oh, please and thank you. And then they proceeded to play an amazing cover of a Coldplay song. I'm like, I hate Coldplay, but I like this. What is happening? And I also hate covers. But yeah. Sorry, I'm like just like looking at more comments. Peter Hadid says running orders are wrong. 100%
Egregiously so this year. Egregiously this year.
Yeah, Nanolo, I love their TikToks. Talking about Iceland again. Their TikToks are very fun.
They're cool
guys.
They really are.
They seem fun. They seem sweet. They're like, I'm like, oh, these are children. These are like.
Well, and I think that's their whole vibe too, is that vibe pun there. That like they need to, in order for them to have success, they need to bring people into the fun with them. And I think they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, focusing back on Poland, nothing but praises for Justyna. This is GAJA is a moment. It is.
It's a new age for the Polish people. I feel like it is. You could say a lot of these countries are in a new age, but Poland's been wanting to do this for a long time. They've finally broken through, and I'm happy for them for that.
Poland is hungry for a win at Adult Eurovision. I think they've been lost. They don't know exactly what to do, but they want to win. I feel like Poland wants to win. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen with this song.
Sarah James. Hey, Sarah James. Come back,
She pulled
girl.
out of the national final.
Yeah, and Milena had to too. I want them to come back in the same year. I said that in previous streams, but I want them to come back in the same year.
Talked about
against each other again.
We've talked about that before the Polish girl group to end all girl groups at Eurovision. Maybe that was a private conversation. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was a private conversation, but it did involve Vicky Gabor, Sarah James, and Roxana Węgiel as like the core of the Polish girls as a girl group for Poland. Let's go
like
to Warsaw, maybe.
Like a River Deep Mountain High kind of song together.
Ooh.
That would be great.
They have the voices. They have the voices for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder why she pulled out. But
it could be for any reason. Yeah.
It just means that if she's 16, the rest of them are 16 now too. So we'll see where Poland goes with it. But yeah.
Well, actually, of the 5 songs,
I think it's good. Yeah.
But of the 5 songs we've talked about, like, I think a lot of them are hungry for that win. Whether or not the songs will win, there's a few songs a few countries that like have not won at all. That I wonder if that does play. Like, obviously, people who are following Eurovision are excited about the prospect of a new country winning. Whether that actually plays into like voting patterns, potentially it could if like broadcasters are really hyping up that a country hasn't won yet. But obviously the song is really the most important piece.
Why is everyone over here jumping around making noise? Come here. Want to come on? Get on camera. Here you are. Look at him. Stare into the camera.
Who are you gonna vote for?
Who's your favorite song? Which one of these do you like the most?
Rowan?
Say Shkodra, Elektronike.
Okay. And now Mythos trying to get in the camera too, so he's too big for me to pick up.
Well,
yeah.
It looks like that was the songs, you guys.
True. So yeah, I like you said, I think in this list, Albania is definitely hungry for a win.
Mm-hmm.
Greece has expressed that they want to win more than once recently. Poland 100% wants to win. And when
Montenegro
it comes to Latvia,
came back, so that is closer to wanting a win than being out of the contest.
When it comes to Latvia, Montenegro, a win for those two is qualifying.
Yeah.
And with Montenegro, I know that what's her name from Vladana. Vladana really pushed for Montenegro to come back. So yeah. Also,
did you see her Vladana address kind of like the Montenegro national final and how it was like? It was just unsavory for her as an experience to have hosted it because of the organizers. Interesting thing to dissect. So yeah, that is a piece of literature for anyone who's interested. Vladana has some commentary on that. But that said, yes, Montenegro and Latvia coming back to qualify is winning to me because we get them in the final. And I want them in Saturday, period.
Same. But yeah, like I'm here for it. But yeah, that was the stream. We'll be back again next week. Next week we have up who do we have? Oh. Next week is I say because it's a little random who's gonna be showing up next week.
That's not super random.
Not like milkshake.
It's pretty random. It's pretty random.
It's a little random. It is Georgia, San Marino, France, Switzerland, and Armenia. So yeah, it's kind of random.
Are those like later songs that got released?
Well, I mean, yes, but it's also so I wanted to call the category hard and soft because there are really hard in your face songs and they're really like soft contemplative ones. I don't really know if that's the connection between them, but they're together.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things like I can see a comparison between France and Switzerland, for example.
For sure.
Definitely.
Between Armenia and San Marino.
Okay.
I feel like those could appeal to like similar audiences.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back next week to talk about those 5. And we're getting close to being done with talking about these.
I know. Oh God,
we only have 3 more weeks to reviews because we're about a month out from Eurovision. Actually, we're like 6 weeks out, I think, from Eurovision, if I do the math correctly.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
We are all terrified. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check out EurovisionFam.com. Eurovision Fam on all the socials on this channel as well. Like the video, leave a comment. I kind of want to do a stream like in the middle of the week where I just read comments. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Let
me know. I might be able to jump on.
Okay. But yeah, like thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys again next week. So bye.
Bye guys. See you next week.